Welcome to the AMR podcast, and today you guys are going to be getting another review. And this review in particular is going to be focusing on a video game that had came out almost a month ago. And I had recently just beaten it, and I feel like talking about it. Now, in this review, it is just going to be me speaking about it because Ari is currently not here. She's at work. But not just that, she's never played the game before. And she really wouldn't have much to say about it, and it would just be me mainly talking, so I figured why not just do this review now. Now, for the record, there's going to be some games that she will be playing that I probably never would play, or probably ever could play, so to speak, that she'll be doing reviews by herself as well. So, there is that. Just so you guys know, this isn't like certain situations or anything, it's just more like, I played this game, she'll probably never play it. So, basically that. So with that being said, the game we're going to be talking about is going to be Star Wars The Fallen Order. Now this game has been hyped up for quite some time. I've been pretty excited to play this game. It's one of the games Actually, you know what? I'm not going to deny this. I feel like for 2019, the excitement for games just really feels dead. I'm not going to deny that. There's not a lot of games that came out this year that I was super excited for, but this is one of them. This was one of the games I was really excited for. Now, besides the trailers and the gameplay looking amazing, the main reason too that people were looking forward to this is because EA thinks that single player games don't really sell well. So this is actually the first single player game from Star Wars that has come out in quite some time, because the last two games, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe these are the last two games, I don't think anything else came out afterwards. Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2 were considered garbage, for the most part. Some people liked them, some people liked them, most people did not like them, and someone like me who grew up on the original Battlefront games, I agree. I hated them, and I think some of the levels are utterly biased. Like, you have to really get down on your knees and suck some Star Trooper. Star Trooper? What? Stormtrooper. Why did I say Star Trooper? Man, oh man. Anyways, you really have to suck some Stormtrooper to actually win some of those maps. Specifically, Hoth. I swear to God, no matter how hard you try, the Empire wins 90% of the time, and that is complete and utter garbage. And it feels like it's mainly done scripted-wise, because that's how it was in the movies. So, yeah, I'm not particularly a fan of the last two Star Wars games. So, I recently beat this game. I got it for myself, and there's a lot to be said. Now, one of the things I did actually hear about... Now, actually, let me quickly summarize what the game's going to be. What the game's going to be about. So, essentially, Star Wars The Fallen Order takes place... I don't really know. I want to say at least maybe 18, 14 years. I'm saying give or take 18 to 14 years, possibly maybe 9 years after Revenge of the Sith, when Order 66 has finally, commenced, and all the Jedi are being shot by the clone troopers or stormtroopers. I don't remember what they were called at the time, because it's been a while since I've seen the movies. The prequel movies, at least. But anyways, it takes place like about around that time after Revenge of the Sith. It's before Star Wars: A New Hope, and you're following this new Jedi, which it's been a couple days since I played it, so let me do a quick Google search, because oh my God, I cannot believe I'm just doing this without remembering what the hell his name is. All I know is that he's the actor who played the Joker in Gotham the TV show. So let me see. Like, I've had so much other stuff going on in my brain, I just completely forgot what his name was. Clone Wars, Inquisitors. Cal. I don't know how I forgot that name. That's bad. But no, I've honestly had a lot of stuff going on. I've been trying to re-upload some games onto my PS4 because something happened, and now I got to re-upload them. So it's like a lot of games. So I've been dealing with a lot of shit. So excuse me if I forgot some of the names. But yeah, you follow Cal. After Order 66, years later, and just basically summarize it. He's a Jedi. He's being chased by the Inquisitors. The Empire, basically. The Inquisitors being a certain group that works for the Empire. In short. And he is working with a band of misfits. That's what I'm going to call them. And he's trying to look for a holocron. And that's basically the summary of, without spoiling anything, that's basically the summary of the game. Now, I will admit, I thought this game was going to be pretty short. Around the third planet, I want to say. No, not the third planet, the fourth planet. I actually felt like the game was going to be short for some reason, but the game is actually a good 8 hours, I want to say. 8 hours, maybe 6 hours to complete. And if you are actually, one of those people that want to do 100%, it'll take you a lot more than 8 hours. I'm going to say that right now. It's going to take you more than 8 hours. Sorry. I'm starting to be a little burpy right now. But yeah, it's going to take you more than 8 hours if you want to complete this game in 100%. But I will admit, when it comes to this game, it is well worth the time to actually complete 100%. I haven't completed 100% yet, but I'm actually determined to, because the game is a lot of fun. And some people have compared this game to Dark Souls, or From Software games specifically, because one specific game that people compare it to is Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, which I should do a review of that, because dear God, that game. I'm technically at the end of that game. Well, I'm not going to say technically. I am at the end of the game, but the final boss can suck my dick. But anyways. Yeah, some people have compared it to Shadows Die Twice specifically. And I can kind of see why, but I don't fully agree. Now, some elements in terms of how the game works. There is certain spots throughout every map where you can rest up, you can upgrade your skills, you can rest up, gain all your stems. Stems basically being the thing you can inject yourself with to heal up. It's kind of like the potions in the Dark Souls games, or Bloodborne with their, I don't even remember what the Bloodborne one was called, but it's basically when you splatter blood in your hands, it just heals you up. And I don't remember, I think Sekiro was drinking as well. I believe so. Regardless, there's that, and when you're done resting up, the enemies can actually respawn, just like Dark Souls games, which is why it's been compared so much. In terms of gameplay, I don't really think it's a lot like it. I think it's not that hard. It is hard at the beginning, but once you actually get used to the controls, it's almost a breeze. I mean, I played it on the hardest difficulty, and I had some struggles with some of the bosses. But it wasn't to the point of Sekiro or Dark Souls or Bloodborne struggles. Because these bosses, yeah, they're hard, but they're not, like, excruciating hard. And that's saying a lot for me, because there were some points where I wanted to throw my controller throughout this game. But it's also because I kind of had some fuck-ups along the way. But I wouldn't say it's as hard as Sekiro or Dark Souls. And I definitely wouldn't say the controls feel the same, because I feel like they were a little bit more fluid and a little bit more easier to control, but I can still see the comparisons people say. Now, in terms of story, and of course, I will say this podcast review will be very short, because I don't like doing spoilers in, video game reviews. Movie reviews, it's a little easier, in my opinion. But when it comes to the story, it feels exactly like how, if I had to compare it really anywhere, I would compare it to really Star Wars: A New Hope in terms of how the pacing is. It's more of a slow paced type of game. It kind of goes into what's the best way I can say it? It feels a lot like A New Hope in terms of pacing. It's pretty slow, but it's introducing you to all these new characters, and that's the basic gist of it. I feel like it doesn't really pick up until maybe the midway point, which is fine. The story still progresses really, really well. You have a little droid that follows you, which is adorable. The name's going to be BD1, just in case you guys never played the game. And the first 3 hours, I want to say, is really just introducing you to the world of, in terms of this game, the Fallen Order world, or Fallen Order world. So it's introducing you to the characters and kind of the gameplay features and all that. And it's kind of a slow build up, but once you get past the planet Zepho, I feel like that's really where it starts picking up. There's some points where I feel like you could get lost a little bit, but that was just me as well. And once it picks up, you start learning more about these characters and their more inner emotions. There was one part that felt completely random and kind of unnecessary, in my opinion. It's when you're on Zepho, it feels unneeded. You guys can probably understand what I mean. I'm not going to say too much about it, but it felt very out of place. It was cool, but it felt out of place. But once you get onto Kashyyyk, that's when it starts, that's when the story starts going. You start learning more about Seer and the captain. I don't remember what the captain's name is. Give me one moment. Grease. I actually liked Grease. Grease was pretty funny. But yeah, you get to learn a little bit more how Seer is, her past, and it also, without spoiling anything, kind of dwells into the struggle with Jedi when it comes to dealing with the dark side. And once it actually explained a lot more in terms of that little area, I really was starting to enjoy the story. That's where I was starting to feel more invested with the characters because they're likable characters. But I didn't feel invested in them until the story started picking up a little bit more and you started learning more about them. And would I say the story's amazing? No. Is it good? Yes. And that's really all I can say without going into specifics with spoilers. Now, gameplay wise, I've already said it's really fluid. The music is it's Star Wars music. It's fucking amazing. But there's really not much I can say. The voice acting is great. So I will say too, some of the twists in this game I did not see coming. I really didn't. I was very surprised for some of the twists, and I'm just like, wait, what? Hold up, hold up. Didn't see that coming, and I appreciate it when I don't see a twist coming, because sometimes it's very predictable. Like if you guys watch me and Ari's Frozen 2 review, I did say like a certain point in that movie, and it was at the beginning. I felt like I predicted something, and I was right. There's a couple things I can predict, and I end up being right too. So, but yeah, that's really all I can say about Star Wars: The Fallen Order. I think and it's honestly just an amazing game. Was it worth the hype? In terms of worth the hype for the hype I built up for it for myself, so. Do I regret buying it? Hell no. Would I buy it again? Yes. I just think it's a very fun game. I'll definitely replay it, until I get 100%. But in terms of the story, it's a good story with good twists and good characters, that have a lot of layers to them. But I probably wouldn't say it's game of the year for me. In retrospect, I probably wouldn't say it's game of the year for me. But that's not saying it's a horrible game. It's just not game of the year material for me. And if I had to rate it, I would personally, and I will say the biggest negative I will say with this game, and it might just because I have a standard PS4, the frame rate is god awful. It is god awful. And sometimes the camera moves on its own. I've noticed that. It's not a lot, but it's like maybe once or twice I notice it moves on its own. So that can get annoying. But if I had to rate this honestly from playing it, I would honestly rank it an 8 out of 10. It's a great Star Wars game. It has a couple flaws, mainly in the frame rate and how it's a bit of a slow build. But slow builds are not particularly bad, but sometimes you want the story to pick up a little bit more around that time. So with that being said, an 8 out of 10 from me. Really enjoyed it. And if you guys are a Star Wars fan or you're, say, a From Software fan, go ahead and pick this game up. Rent it if you have to. But I do highly recommend this. It's a really fun game. But if you're not really much of a Star Wars fan, this might not be for you. So Thank you guys for listening, and I will see you guys next time with another review. Me and Ari do have another review being planned out currently, so expect an episode 3 review. And eventually we will be doing actual podcast discussions about certain topics. There's a couple topics that I'm thinking about lining up, so we can do that. So until next time, you guys have a wonderful day.